And welcome back for another episode. So first of all, let's have a quick glance on what's going on. The raiding fleet is currently heading towards North Atlantic. They'll be, well, I'm only giving them orders to go to the jump point, but we'll move them a little bit further out from the jump points just for the sake of gentleman rules here. But our economy is still pretty bad. I mean, we did get a decent bit of income this year thanks to our trade deals, but it's still relatively small. I mean, it might be enough to keep our economy not go much deeper into debt than what we ended last year, but still, it's not great. Let's be honest. We do hope to get some nice blunders this year, though. In terms of research, we're still trying to get the better sailing technology, which is going to take a while still. We have built, or rather, we've started building a research facility in Palembang, but that's also going to take a long while before it's completed. And considering our economy, yeah, we can't really build everything everywhere. We are in a bit of a pickle, so to speak, because we can barely expand our industry either, due to the lack of crucial resources. But we'll see what we can do, or rather, we'll do what we can. We are trying to get some awful mining platforms, though, which is going to be rather useful getting resources, and especially if we start taking those into our other colonies. Of course, taking them there is going to take a long while. The distances would probably make it last for about a year and a half to get there, and then a half year to get back. But our plans for this year are mostly to try to get some raiding going on. Hopefully we can raid some nice ships. I'll try to capture them actually, but we'll see what we can do. But again, we are the smallest nation. There's not huge things going on for us, so we're not going to be taking part in any coastal raids or anything like that. We'll just mostly try to focus on fighting the civilian shipping, although fight is probably not the right word for that. But anyway, I will bring you guys back in just a few moments. Our raiding fleet has now arrived in the Atlantic. It will stay there for a couple months before heading back, and hopefully during that time we'll be able to catch some enemy fleets by surprise. Captain, we've spotted a Spanish fleet coming this way. This is it, boys. Set course to intercept. The prize is on the run, but we'll catch them soon enough. We're almost ready to open fire with our chaser cannons. We'll try to force them to slow down, and then we'll board them. We're about close enough to open fire with our broadsides instead of chaser cannons. Of course, we do need to be careful. We do not want to sink the ships. We want to capture them. We're doing some good damage on the enemy, so we'll have to cease fire and send in the bigger ships to actually board the enemies. We've slowed down one of the enemy ships. Time to stop firing on that one and send in our ships of the line. Another one of the enemy ships has been demasted, but we accidentally destroyed one of the ships, so we'll have to limit our firing a fair bit from now on just to avoid that happening again. We'll be sending the other ship of the line, trying to catch up the other demasted ship now. We have managed to board a boarding party into the enemy vessel, the first one that is. Unfortunately, majority of the sailors were dropped into the sea, so we are still on the move. Thus we'll probably have to send in the remaining 2 crews there as well. The combat aboard the first colony ship over here is already going on. It should soon start on the other one, and we've demasted yet another one of the ships. There's only one ship that is currently going on full speed, and that's not going to be going for all that long, I don't think. After which, considering how much we've already lost of our boarding parties in the attempts to board, we'll probably sink these 2, but first we'll just slow them down so they won't get away, and then we'll sink them. And we'll try to board these 2, and then after that we'll have to scatter a little bit. We have sunk the enemy ships. Now we shall go and pick up the survivors and then regroup at Nassau. The raiding fleet has now returned to Nassau. It will undergo some overhaul, and then we'll have to figure out what to do with our fleet next after that. Of course, there's a few lessons that we learned from trying to board the enemies. First of all, unless they are completely stopped, it's gonna be very costly. And secondly, boarding parties might not be the best.
I suppose they will be good enough to at least keep on fighting, but that's about it really. I mean, we did kill a fair bit of the enemy crew members in one-on-one fights, but there was a lot more enemies in the ships than what we had, so we eventually lost. I mean, there were still a few sailors alive from our side on those ships trying to win the battles, but at that point the battle was basically lost on the ship, so we just ended up sinking the enemies. So we've learned some valuable lessons, because we did kind of lose a fair bit of our marines in Caribbean. If we have a look at the situation here, I do believe we still got some boarding parties there. Yeah, we got 4 of them there, and I think we don't actually have any. Well, no, we do have 1 more here. So we got 5 boarding parties right now in Nassau. Of course, we do have some in Palembang and Tunis as well, but we haven't used them all that much. And as we do now realize, then we'll be using them a bit less, because it means that there's always a risk that we don't destroy the masts, instead we destroy the entire ship. But that's about the only way. I mean, even if we do destroy the mast, we can then, if we manage to capture the ship, we can then repair them, assuming that not all of the supplies have been lost there. We have completed construction more fuel refineries in Tunis, so now we're starting to get some low-gravity infrastructure. We'll probably get some regular infrastructure as well, and then we'll have to find a nice location within the West Mediterranean where we can start mining. Set up a small mining colony so we can get some of the minerals that we don't mine here. For example, iron and bronze and maybe stone, tar and brass. If we could get stone especially here, we could perhaps set up small shipyards in Tunis. But that's gonna be a long shot, it's gonna take a while, but we can certainly start setting up some things over here. We haven't been doing much since our raid of the Spanish convoy. Of course, our fleets have presumably repaired. Yeah, they have, so we could certainly do things with this, but I'm not sure where we should be heading right now with that. Like, we have heard of news that Philadelphia was raided during the summer, and there has been some traffic presumably going back and forth from Caribbean to there, but there's not a huge amount we can do. Like, we cannot fight armed convoys. I'm not sure there's going to be a lot of unarmed convoys right now either, so we'll probably save up the fuel. We have started turning our economy a little bit positive since we're no longer producing as much maize supplies, which does save us a fair bit. We could actually probably, for example, in Nassau, we're no longer producing maize supply points, so we are actually making a decent bit of profit on a monthly basis. So with the trade deals that we have and all that, we might actually get a positive amount of cash at the start of next year. But of course, the economic production modifier will keep getting better and better very slowly, so that's going to be rather handy. Of course, we are still researching the better sales, and that's still going to take a while, more than what we have time during this year. But yeah, we will be rather passive right now. And there we have it, that's another year. For us, it wasn't particularly eventful, although we did fight the Spanish colony ships. Unfortunately, we failed to board them. In hindsight, I should have just gone ahead and demasted them before even trying to board them. That would have meant a guaranteed boarding, and that would have made life a lot easier. And we might be a few colony ships richer that way, but that's a bit too late now, but we know that for the next time. Now, of course, we are building a fair bit of ships, including a salvager, which means that since there is a lot of wrecks around both Caribbean... Actually, is there any in Caribbean? Oh, there's a few in Caribbean. Quite a few over there, and then a lot in American East Coast. We should definitely go in and start salvaging those ships. Perhaps we can get some nice technology and such, which is going to help us, because we have barely any research. I mean, we should be getting the better sails at the start of next year. And then we do need to redesign the gunpowder storages and the sails. And since we do have the thermal reduction, which is to say we have false flags, we can... It's going to be a bit more expensive to make the sails and masts look like they could be whatever ship or any nationality, but we will start... Once we have those designed, I don't think we need to redesign the other than the sloop and frigate masts, quite frankly, and the trade ship. So there's only 3 masts that we really need to redesign. That's going to allow us to refit the ships that we have currently to make those ships more effective, because building new ships is very expensive. And we are still quite a bit in debt, although we should be getting about 1,200 from our trade deals with the British, Dutch and the Ottomans, which is going to get rid of most of our debt. And since we're not really building maintenance supplies anymore, we have a fair stockpile in Nassau, 27,000, and then in Tunis and Palembang I believe we also have a little bit. So yeah, we don't really need more right now, because our fleet is rather small. But yeah, I'd like to be able to update our fleet a little bit so that we can keep up with the enemy ships, and secondly, we might be able to escape a little bit better. We're also getting the opal mining platforms in Nassau, just so that we can get a bit more mining going around in places. There's plenty of asteroids not that far away. Well, they are a little bit far away, but there's plenty of asteroids over here that we should probably start mining to get the resources from there. We of course don't have any civilian mining colonies yet, nor have we started new colonies. We are working on getting some infrastructure, I believe. Yeah, in Tunis we've already gotten the regular infrastructure to some degree there. Of course, we do use regular infrastructure there because we don't have an atmosphere here, which does allow us to have, okay, 38 million population there right now. We'll get the low gravity infrastructure, which we are already working on. Hopefully we can find some nice asteroids in West Mediterranean to start getting some minerals from. There's probably a few around here that we could start mining in, and hopefully we can get the resources that we lack in Tunis itself, which is to say stone and bronze mostly, and iron. If we could find something that had all those 3, I mean, we won't be able to get the orbital mining platforms here, which is a problem. Not directly, but if we can set up a colony in there, in the asteroid, and then get some of the actually, we don't have mines directly, we have the forced labor mining camps, so getting a few of those there, because we do need to get some colonists there as well to be able to man those, but that's alright. We can get that going, and then we can start mining the resources that we require, and turning Tunis into something that can actually work on its own, which would be nice, to be fair. We're also building the research facility in Palembang, but that's going to take still several years to be completed, so that not really. I mean, the Southeast Asia is currently relatively calm. There's not going to be a huge amount of things for us there that we could be raiding or anything like that, so we'll just let them be for now. We currently don't have any immediate plans on sending the raiding fleet out again. We currently have no immediate plans on sending the raiding fleet out again, for example, to Atlantic or anything like that. While it would be good, we need to replenish our boarding parties and such, which we are working towards, but it's taking a while because I usually forget to set them to be built, due to the other nations taking a fair bit more of our focus. But we'll get the salvaging going so we can start getting money that way, which is going to be fairly good for our economy. I mean, our economy, it is improving now, so there is that. And especially once we start getting the salvaging going, then we can certainly get a nice bit of minerals from there and all that sort of stuff. And that's actually a good point. If I was to send a salvager into Mediterranean, I'm not sure if there's much wrecks there. There's at least 2 that I know, but at least one of them, probably both of them, are not in a good location right now. So that might not be an option, but there's certainly a lot to be salvaged here in Caribbean. For example, if we were to salvage the ships over here, British ships and the French ship there, and then a lot over here in American East Coast, I did already show it. There's a huge amount of ships there that we could salvage, get the minerals, and with the minerals, I mean, we could probably kickstart another colony, quite frankly. If we were to get a colony, for example, in the East Coast here somewhere, I'm not sure if there are any places that would be viable for us. There is American East Coast 3. Does have no... Oh, it doesn't actually have any minerals. Alright then, maybe not there then. There would be a Tiger which also has no minerals, and there's a lot of small moons that would be kind of colonizable, but they are not easy. But I mean, I suppose we could set up something to get a colony going, and maybe a bit more trade over here for us as well, because we do have the civilian shipping lines. Altogether we got 6 freighters and 2 colony ships. This might actually be the largest shipping lines in the game currently, which is not bad. We do need the money, that's for sure. And the distance that we have does make the trading very slow, so even though we have a lot of ships, they won't be doing a huge amount of profit. But yeah, maybe getting up another colony over here somewhere would be a good idea. Or maybe colonizing some of the asteroids, especially if any of the asteroids have capability of supporting regular gravity. For us, regular gravity, which is a lot smaller than for most nations. But that is more or less it for this episode, so thank you for watching, and until next time, bye bye.